Hello there folks, welcome back to the Chap's Guide. My name is Ash and I am your host on this journey through men's style, self-development and personal grooming. Now, as you all know, as an intentionally well-dressed man, the foundation for your outfit is a good pair of shoes, good quality, but also well maintained. And I've kind of slipped in that little area with this pair of Loke Burford boots, which I've had for getting on for 5 years. But this last year, I have been wearing them rather hard in the winter and spring months. It's summertime now, so it's time for a renovation. They look a bit tired, they look a bit worn. The finish leaves a lot to be desired. But I think in about 20 minutes time, using some simple shoe products, we're going to give this shoe an entire renovation. We're going to bring it back to life, and we are going to make it look as if it is fit for the foot of any intentionally well-dressed gentleman. So join me at the workbench and let me show you how I breathe life back into these Loke Burford boots. Okay folks, here we have my Loke Burfords, and as you can see, they're a lovely lighter tan colour, or mid-brown you might say, but they have certainly had a fair bit of action. And if I maybe hold up the shoe to you for a bit, you can just about see the life that it's led. It's really, I put it to work, and it's a lovely pair of boots actually. Leather soles, there's many years left of life in these soles, but they need sorting out. So I'm going to renovate them today. I'm going to do what I would typically do on a shoe or boot to make it look its very best when it's perhaps a little rundown. So I'm going to take one away just so that we have a comparison when we come to the end. First thing I want to do is introduce a shoe tree because that is going to give structural integrity to the boot while I'm working on it. And obviously it's just a really good thing to do to a boot anyway when you're not wearing it, because it keeps the whole thing looking good, looking sharp. I'm not going to undo or remove the laces today, to be honest, because life is too short to spend all your time doing that. So, can be a little hard getting the shoe tree in, as you can see, but it's worth the effort. Right, tell you what, I am going to remove the lace. Why not? Let's do the full job. I only don't remove them through laziness, and today is not a day to be lazy. Let's give the shoe a full going over. Right, there you see it. Shoe is now solid, ready to go. Starting point for me is to put my glasses on so I can see them. Oh, that's better. And secondly, I'm going to begin with a shoe or leather conditioning product called Saphir, which is the brand, and the product is called Renovator, or Renovator in English. And it is quite a good quality renovation cream, which is made up of lots of oils and waxes, combined natural, lovely smell, good fragrance, goes on very well, you'll see in a moment. So all you need is a simple cotton cloth, as I'm using here, and this is just a panel which I've removed from an old shirt, wrapped around the finger, so you've got a good solid base to work on. Dip your finger in, and then we just apply the renovation cream to the shoe and around the edge of the old sole as well. You can get it up there on the tongue, put as much on as you need. Don't worry about overloading the cloth, right? The leather will only take as much as it can take. You can't overdose on a renovation cream. And as you can see, it's quite a straightforward process. All we do is, using small circular motions, we are making sure that it is massaged into the leather right down to the welt so that it goes in there, and it's nourishing and protecting the leather. As I always say, I take the opportunity to remind people every single time that when we do this, leather was once a living product. And the way I look at it, when the animal, the donor creature, was alive and still with us, it needed nourishment to protect it and keep the leather going whilst it was still attached to the old animal itself. Same goes when it is reduced into shoe leather for us. We have to protect it, look after it, nourish it, use every opportunity to make sure that you're doing this to your shoes or boots. I mean, typically, depending on the wearing, you know, how often you wear them, I would say maybe once a week, depending on the time of year, the climate, all of the factors. which aggravate the potential longevity and health of your boot. So, as you can see there, I'm going to take this away. That's it. That's all I'm doing. Simple as that on the Renovation cream. So that is just going to take a few moments to dry and sort of seep into the leather. That's what we're really looking for. Do not worry if you can see little pools of the stuff appearing in the broguing there. That is going to be removed when we start to apply the brush to the shoe in a very short period of time. So in this direct sunlight, as I have here today, it's a June day here in the UK, the material, the Renovation cream, is drying almost instantly as I apply it to the boot. So there's no need to mess around. Let us get straight on with it. The brush I'm using is a 100% horsehair brush, and I have two of these, one which has black bristles, which I use exclusively on black shoes, and as you can see, this one has sort of neutral coloured bristles, which I use on all my browns and burgundies and shoes which are not black in nature. So, nice big large brush, as you can see, which makes life a lot easier for me. And all I do is introduce the brush to the shoe, and our goal is to build friction and heat, which moves that Renovation cream around and encourages it to bond with the leather, to go into the pores. And what we're doing here is protecting the leather. We're making the shoe look better. Yes, that's true. But protection is what this is really all about. And as you can see, right, I'm not going to town on it. I am not, building myself into a sweat here. Get it up into the tongue as well, because I've also applied it to the tongue. Get that friction and heat going wherever you've applied the material. And almost immediately, just make sure it's done there, the shoe has started to acquire a luster. This boot now looks 100% better, to be honest, than it did not 5 minutes ago. So if you were something of a lazy gentleman, right, and you're not really fussed about having the best shoes in the room, you could actually do that once a week and your shoes or boots would look great. Highly appropriate for wearing out in the city, in the town. Not only that, remember, the important thing is your shoe or boot is protected. However, we're a bit more dapper than that, aren't we? So sticking with the brand Saphir, which is a French brand and renowned as the manufacturer of the best shoe care products in the world, and I would say at a reasonably modest price. A tub of this stuff is probably, it's going to be about £15, but it is going to last you for a long, long time. So it is worth investing in because it certainly does a better job. Now, it's a sheer butter-based product, and when you open it, you get the aroma, which is totally different to some other creams. Now, the important thing is this is cream, all right? It's not solid polish. It's a semi-viscous cream, and this is really what forms the mainstay of what we're going to do to these shoes today, because you will note it has a strong colour to it. Now, that is a highly pigmented cream, again made up of a combination of oils and waxes and shea butter, as we are told on the lid. And this particular one, I think, is called light brown, because I don't really want to darken these boots anymore. I could go for a mid-brown if I wanted them to go on a bit of a patina journey, but for me, I quite like them being this colour. So I'm using a product which is similar to what I see in the boot itself. And this is highly pigmented, so a lot of its job is, yes, to renovate the leather again, very similar to the Renovator, but also in this one we are adding a bit of pigmentation. And in exactly the same way as we did with the Renovation cream, I'm going to apply it evenly, thoroughly throughout the leather. And it's seeping in really quickly, actually, which means I know I haven't really done a lot with these boots. But you will note that if you've got some patches where perhaps some of the colour has been leached away from your product, the shoe or boot, maybe caused through exposure to ultraviolet, the sun or whatever, you will instantly notice that this will bring colour back. Now, my boots aren't horrendous, they're not too bad. Although I hadn't cared for them terribly over the last 6 months, throughout their long life with me, 5 years or so, I have routinely looked after them. So, they hadn't lost a great deal of colour. But again, small concentric circles all over the shoe or boot. And of course, we do this for all of our footwear. That is calf leather, like this shoe, or whatever leather you have. If you've got cordovan, which is of course equine leather, There are specific polishes for that, but for most other polishes, you know, we can get away with this one, this simple product. And yeah, easy as that. Just the same as the Renovation cream, just going around, protecting that leather, small circles. Now, excuse me, if your shoe or boot has had a really tough life, maybe you've bought a second-hand one and it's got, you know, colour leaching problems, it looks lackluster, to use the term, you know, it's not pretty, it's maybe had a hard life, it's been in a cupboard for many, many years, and it's not looking good at all. You could repeat this process more than once if you wanted to get more colour, luster into your shoe or boot. There we go. Exactly the same, excuse me, as the Renovator. It's instantly dried. I can see that it's, you know, there's no wetness or damp because of the warm sunny day here. That material has misted over in appearance immediately, and it's ready to take off. Now, if this was a cool day, or maybe I was indoors, it might take a few minutes for it to fully dry and, you know, take on that sheen. However, we're ready to go. My horsehair brush, same brush, exactly the same process, application of heat through friction and the movement around. So what we're doing, we're just exasperating what we did with the Renovation cream. We are moving that cream and the oils and waxes again to fill the pores and the pores of the leather, and you will see after this one that we're actually starting to form what I would describe as quite an attractive luster here. You know, this is taking it to the next level. Excuse me, got a frog in my throat today. That's it. And it's amazing. I actually love cleaning shoes because you see this transformation happening with just the most simple products and the smallest amount of effort on your behalf as the shoe cleaner or polisher. And here we have it. Look at that. Already a noticeable luster. I would even describe it as a shine throughout the entirety of this boot, which you will remember a short time ago was looking a bit worn out, a little bit done in. Now, I reckon I could wear this out, excuse me again, I could wear this out and it would be probably the best looking shoe in the room. But we are better than that, aren't we? We are intentionally well-dressed men. Now we're taking it to the next level, which is a hard wax polish. Now this is what most people are familiar with. And I say hard wax, it's a warm day here and you can see it's already starting to become a little bit liquefied, but it's a hard wax. This is a mid-brown colour, I believe, yeah, mid-brown. And you can see it's quite a close mix. It looks a bit orange, but when it goes on, it will do a good little job for us. Now the purpose of hard wax, and this is Saphir Pat Deluxe, I think this is their top product, right? The purpose of hard wax, if you imagine, is to place, and I always describe it like this, a little wax overcoat over the leather. We're kind of sealing in the work that we have already done. We are making sure that wax goes everywhere that we've already treated, and we're just getting it on there. And we're going to put the brush on it in a minute. Lots of friction, heat. It will disperse the wax, make sure it seats itself in the pores. We can do the edging, but I'm going to do something with the edging at the end anyway. So we're not too worried about the edging right now. But if you wanted to, you could just apply the wax to the edging as you would in the normal fashion. But I'm going to apply a dresser to the edging. But there we go. Just a little tap. You notice only the littlest bit. It doesn't have to be a big, thick layer of this stuff. And I'm just applying it again, small circles. There's a lot of repetition involved when we polish our shoes. Many people will say they absolutely love the cathartic experience of polishing shoes like this because it allows you to disengage your brain for a little while whilst you're doing it, and you get a very gratifying result at the end. There we go. Exactly the same as we've done twice already. We are just going to let that dry for only a few moments as the sun does its work and it bakes that wax into a shell. And then, well, I guess you already know what's coming next. It is time to get the brush out again. Now I'm just looking at the shoe, the boot, and I can see that the wax has fully dried. It's got that sort of misty look to it. It's lost its shine. So, brush again. Now we should see the biggest transformation after the application of the brush this time, because the wax polish, well, its whole purpose, yes, it is to protect the boot in this instance, or the shoe, whatever you're doing, but of course, very much part of why we polish our shoes or boots is to give us that lovely shine that we all long for on our footwear. And in this instance, I can already see that my effort and determination to come to the end of this shoe polish is working out rather well. It's looking good already. There we go. Let me show you. Right, what we have there now is a lovely shiny brogue. Absolutely glorious, isn't it? Isn't that beautiful? Throughout the whole shoe, all the way around, we've got that lovely shine. But more importantly, we know that this boot has been fully conditioned. All right, it is good to wear out in the damp, in the rain. It's protected from such situations. Now we could leave it there, and I would suggest that the vast majority of people probably will. But because I'm laying these boots down for the winter months, or the summer months rather, waiting until the next winter comes along, I am going to just bring the toe cap, where the broguing is, yes, but still up into a lovely shine. And I'm using a special product by Saphir called Mirror Gloss. Now I have to emphasize, you don't need to use this product. You could just as easily use a normal hard wax polish, a Pat Deluxe in this case, but this polish has been especially engineered by Saphir to make it easier to get a mirror shine because it's drier. Right? So that means you can build up the layers necessary to get that glorious shine on your boot so much faster. And the way we do it is a little different to what you've seen so far. Now for me, the way I've always done it, and I learned this technique whilst I was in the military many years ago, and it's stood me in good stead over the decades since then, I get a simple cotton cosmetic pad, which my wife uses to remove makeup at the end of a day. And, you know, they come in tubes of 100 of them or so for next to no money at all. And what I do, I'm going to dampen it because the wet is important. It's called a spit shine because it does need a little bit of fluid. Now I'm using simple water here, nothing more than that, in this little spritzer bottle. And I'm just going to spray it 3 times, oops, on either side, because I've come to know that that works just right. Just dab up what's on my hand there as well. Now, it is not wet, it is damp, all right? It is very damp, it's not very wet. You can see if it doesn't, it's not sort of holding water. If I wrung it out, nothing would come out. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to fold my little pad into something which is comfortable for me to hold. Now, this will be different for everybody, but I rather like it just like that. Nice and simple. And all I'm going to do, I'm going to get that pad and I'm going to rub it into my polish. And this time we only have to make the effort on the area that we're trying to bring up to a mirror shine. Just in my instance, I'm just adding a little pop of excellence to these. And I'm going to just do that, put on a layer. There we go. And now I just wait. Now you can see that applying that polish has taken off some of the underlying polish underneath, but that's just fine because I'm applying, or I'm going to apply, at least 5 or 6 layers of this polish, and I'm going to bring it to a shine each time. So it is protected and ready to move on. Now we just allow that polish to sit for a minute and set in exactly the same way as we have done with our previous applications. Now I'm just using this little pad to almost bring the polish which I have applied up to a shine. You know, I'm bringing it up to quite close to a luster. In other words, I'm working it into the leather, making sure that it's filling the uneven pores of the leather. And the idea is we get that absolute mirror surface. So when the light hits it, it catches it just perfectly. And we get that reflection that we all desperately love when we get that mirror shine. So I don't expect you to sit here and watch me doing this for the next 10 minutes. So why don't you pop back, take a breather, and I'll see you shortly.
Hello there folks, welcome back. Well, I hope in the 5 to 10 minutes you've been away, you can just detect that there is now a lustrous mirror shine on the toe cap. Now I didn't go nuts because at the end of the day this is a semi-casual boot for me. It's not a parade boot. I just wanted it to be the best dressed boot in any room that I tend to enter, and this polish certainly means that I will have the best looking boot. There is just one final thing that I want to do to these boots. As you can see, the edges, even though they now look a lot better because I have applied polish to them and renovation cream, there's one step I can go further. A little bit of edge dressing. And this is by Feebrings, which is a well-renowned edge dresser. So basically, it's a flexible paint which is designed to go onto leather, and it will allow the edge of my boot just to look fabulous. Application using a simple little dabber like this, as you can see. And now all we do is basically we just paint it around the edge, as it would have originally had done in the factory when it started its life. Now, it depends on how, good you are with the eye. You can do the stone welt, you can do all the other bits of the boot with this. Particularly around the front, it tends to show its age a little, perhaps. And because this boot's got a stone welt, it makes it very easy for me to fit that dauber in and actually really make a fabulous difference to the way that this boot is going to look. Because I can just tuck it in all the way around under the stone welt. Make sure that the stitching all looks like brand new. And if there's any sort of marks on it, I can see a little mark there, that's going to get covered up. And of course, exactly the same way as you've done with a polish, you can go over this more than once if it's something that the boot particularly needs. And it'll dry very swiftly. It's designed to do so. And just get it in the edging, over that stitching, a little bit more, just add the colour. This product comes in different colours, so if you obviously has a black shoe, you would want it in black, your black shoes and boots, on the edging like so, all the way around, making sure it gets in there. A little bit more on the heel, just like that. To be honest, this is a beautiful finishing touch. I think when you put the edge dressing on it, it really does make the shoe or boot look like it's been back to the factory for a full refurbishment. You can put a little bit extra on the front because that tends to be where the shoe or boot shows its age. As I say, it dries so quickly. There we go. That's done. Now, just to give you perhaps a 360 so you can see it, it really does make it look brand new. And of course you can polish over that, buff over it when it's nice and dry and ready to go. So, just going to pop the laces in, and then we will see a comparison between as the boot was and as it is now.
Okay, so there it is, laces attached and lovely shine. Hope you can see that. Gleaming in the light. But I know what you're thinking. I can't remember what it looked like before, when the other one was next to it. Well, I can sort that out for you. Hopefully now you get an impression of what a little bit of work can do for a pair of boots. And it literally has taken 20 minutes. So in total, I'll do the other boots. It'll be a 40-minute commitment, very infrequently, and you get a pair of boots which can literally change the way that the world sees you. So there we go, chaps. That was me on a journey to put these boots in a far better position, ready to put them down for the summer, ready for the autumn when the weather will change and I need to get the boots on again and I need to look super sharp and ready to take on the world. And I think these look amazing. The edging looks perfect, the shine is great, but more importantly, the shoe is nourished and protected And I know that it gives it more life. It's going to look better for longer, protect me on my journey to Chap Nirvana, whilst I remain the best dressed man in the room. So if you enjoyed today's video, give it a thumbs up. Click subscribe if you'd like to see more. Drop me a question if you want to know more about the shoe polishing process that I employ. Drop me an email. Support the channel by buying me a coffee, or even become a patron and benefit from the additional video content I produce each and every week for the people who enjoy the same things as I do. So until the next time, take care, look sharp, and I'll see you again very soon.